Hello you legends, this is David Peck here, and today I will be going through my Age of Empires 2 Definitive Edition Bounty Challenge. To celebrate Age of Empires 25 years of being released, I decided to create my own custom scenario with its own objectives as a bounty challenge for you players out there. So we'll just go into it. Hang on a sec. Alright. Single player. Skirmish. And scenario is called The 12 Labours of Petrocaro. You only live twice. Difficulty, don't worry about that. Population, doesn't matter. Game speed. Reveal map, no. Starting age, standard, yep. Treaty length, none. Lock teams, no cheating. And the game will be recorded. Alright, so let me go through this bounty challenge for you guys. So basically, let's go through the players. There will be a total of 8 players on this map. It is a very big map. 1, 2, 3, 4 of those players will be AI controlled players, while maximum of 4 can be human controlled players. So players 5 to 8 will be your AI players that are locked. And the 2 civilizations that are locked are players 5 and player 8. So player 5 is locked as Sicilians and player 8 is locked as the... Oh, sorry, player 7 is locked as the Britons, while 8 and 6 are random civilizations. Out of players 5 to 8, player 6 is an ally player that you'll start with. So as soon as the game starts, whatever player 6 has already explored on the map or has positioned itself on the map or units, you'll have all access to straight away. So player 6 is your ally throughout this map. Now with the human players, player 1, 2, 3 and 4, depending on how many players want to attempt this bounty, the way I actually developed it was a cooperative kind of bounty challenge. Between ideally 3 and 4 players is the ideal number of players to actually complete this bounty pretty well, like pretty confidently. Doesn't mean that you can't try and solo this whole objective scenario and do it on your own. You've got a very good chance of completing it. Maybe, maybe not. I would actually say probably not, because it's a very big map and will take a lot more to explore. And some of the objectives are a lot more obtainable if you had more human players. So each human player will decide what player number they will be. So player 1, 2, 3 and 4. And your diplomacy setting will be allied. So you will all start off as ally. You will actually all finish as allies. So I've locked the diplomacy that you can't actually change the diplomacy setting in this scenario for any of the actual civilizations. So players 1, 2, 3 and 4 can be human. If they're not human, they will just remain as an AI, but they won't actually do anything in the game. They'll just be stagnant. And the diplomacy will be allied, and map is being allied. You would have map exploration shared. Player, I'm just thinking. So basically, first thing you got to realize is, or attempt, or do, is to select what player number you want to be. So if you want to be player 1, you choose blue. If you want to be player 2, you choose red. Player 3, pink. Player 4 will be yellow. Once you choose the player number, you can choose your civilization. Now your civilization can be random. It can be whatever you want. So there's no lock civilization depending on your player. So you can choose your player number and you can also choose your civilization. Just be mindful that all civilizations, AIs and humans, will be post-imperial once you start the game. So if you choose a certain civilizations, all that civilization's technologies will be researched. It's post-imperial. Just something to be mindful when you want to choose your civilization. So you're all on the same team, all the human players on the same team. Now the human players, the objective of this to complete this bounty is you need to work as a team because it is allied victory setting. I have 12 labours that I have actually set through this game type. And those 12 labels will be displayed in the top right corner of the screen. So you will know if you've completed a label or not, or the team's completed a label, because there'll be a line that will go through it once it's completed. If there's a hints tab, there's a history tab to read a bit more about it. There's also an options tab, not an options tab, but a objectives tab that will kind of give a bit more content on the objectives that want to be achieved. So make sure you read all those before you actually start your game. Now, when you start your game, of course, it'll be fog and the map won't be revealed, except what only player 6 can actually see, because player 6 is actually your ally. Don't worry, you can't really rely much on player 6. It's more about map revealing situations that player 6 offers to you. Each player, when they start the game, will start off with one Age of Empires 2 hero. Each of players 1 to 4 heroes are unique. So depending on what player number you choose is what hero you will start with. Now, just be mindful, that's all you start with throughout this game type. There is a way to unlock other military units and a villager or 2 villagers throughout the game. But besides that, you should just start with the 1 hero military unit. Now, just be mindful when you're actually using that military unit can actually regenerate over time. So if it is damaged, it can heal itself over time. It's HP. However, there are 1-2 monks somewhere around the map that if you want to kind of heal your hero a lot quicker, they can regenerate your health a lot quicker for you, but you'll have to unlock those or try to locate them. Also, be mindful that all technologies, all units, and all buildings have been disabled. So don't worry about once you get a villager building a town centre, because you won't be able to. There are 3 buildings, mind you, that are unlocked, that are part of objectives that you need to actually complete. Besides those 3 buildings, no military units are able to be created if you were to create a certain building that were unlocked. So everything is locked except 3 buildings because they are part of the objectives. So when you get a villager, if you do get to the point where you're good enough to get a villager, you'll notice that everything but 3 buildings will be locked. So be very cautious with that villager, because that villager is required to complete a couple of the objectives. So if you lose that villager, you'll basically, as a player, will not be able to complete that objective. So there's 12 labours or objectives to complete. You can complete them in any order between 1 and 11. Objective 12 or Labour 12 cannot be undertaken or unlocked until you complete the first 11. Once you complete the first 11, Objective 12, which I believe is the Furious Monkey Boy objective, will be unlocked. And once you, or if you do complete Objective 12, the game will end and you will be victorious as a team. So how do you actually claim the bounty? So even though this is an allied cooperative kind of gameplay, there are victory points assigned to this. So every objective that a player completes for their team will gain 1 victory point. So for instance, if one of the objectives was to kill a certain unit, and all 4 of you went to that unit and killed that unit together, it would be the player that landed the last blow would actually get that victory point. So that's why I've recorded the game, to watch the replays if there's any contentious questions about who actually completed that objective. Some objectives are quite simple. You only need 1 player easily to complete an objective. Others, it will be very, very easier, or if you worked as a team, to complete that objective. So you can either, or I suggest you communicate with each other and determine how you actually want to undertake this scenario. Do you want to try and look for objectives yourselves? Because even though you are working as a team, you're also, working on your own, like individually. You want to gain as much victory points. You gain more than 4 victory points this whole game, because there's 12 objectives. you will win the bounty. So the bounty can only be achieved by one player, and that is the player that achieves the most victory points. And the only way you can achieve victory points is from completing objectives. However, there is a way to lose victory points. So there's a couple of situations that if you undertake or you fail, you will lose a victory point. So there is a possibility of having a minus victory point score at the end of the game if you as a team complete it. You don't complete the bounty if every player has been eliminated. So if players 1 to 4 are playing together, you complete, let's say, 6 objectives, you all get defeated, then the bounty isn't claimed. Now, let's say 3 of you got defeated or lost your hero unit. The bounty can still be achieved by one player because that player can still attempt to complete all the bounties on their own. However, it will make the game type a lot more harder to do. Not impossible, but a lot harder to do. There are other military units you can obtain in this map, either through unlocking certain objectives or by Gaia units on the map. So although you just start with the one hero unit, you can unlock other military units. Not many, so just be mindful. You got to be very protective of that hero unit you start with. I believe that's all, really. So in a nutshell, 3 to 4 players, human players, work together, complete the 12 labours of Petrocaro. Labours 1 to 11 first. That will unlock Labour 12. Once you do those, you'll have Player 6 as an AI that will give you some hints once the game types on places that you'll be able to explore. Be mindful of using the hints tab, the objectives tab, just to get a bit more understanding of what you need to do. I'll be observing the game, so any questions that I think I can help you with, I'll let you guys know. And I will rewatch the game before I declare who the actual winner is, just to ensure that the correct person completed the correct objectives. Until then, $50. I'll see you all next time.